Hello, it's Jean from Inky Studio. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you again. I am starting a new project and I've already made the video for how to put this together, but I decided to redo the intro so that you can see the finished product first. I think it might give you a better idea of where the instructions are going. So I'm working with Tim Holtz papers and ephemera, and it's going to be a Tim Holtz theme type of journal. And it's an accordion style spine to it, which is kind of fun, I thought. And there was a cover, and then there's going to be 5 pages inside on the back cover. And so these pages here are going to then be filled with pockets and flips and whatever you want to put inside there. And there will be some pockets with some booklets with journaling opportunities and that type of stuff. So it's kind of a journal folio. I don't really know what to call it, but it's kind of fun. So I just wanted to give that a look-see before you started. And also I am still working on the upholstery journal, and I got really busy this week, haven't really been able to finish it up, but I'm hoping to have that done by this weekend. The idea for this particular journal comes from Judy at Rose Lane Vintage Designs, and I'll put down below a video she did a few years ago to show how she did it. Of course, I kind of like altered it and tweaked it up a little bit to my ideas, but that's where the original idea came from. So we will get started. So I'll be using pads from Tim Holtz French Industrial pad and the Dapper pad. So I'm going to be getting my papers from there, and we'll begin. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need, of course, your paper, and you can use a 6x6 pad, an 8x8 pad. You can use a 12x12 pad. You can use whatever size you want. And even what's really interesting too is, you have these 6x6s inside these Tim Holtz pads, and you can use this size. It will be a smaller journal, of course, but you could use those sizes in there as well. And you're going to need cardstock. So I recommend that you find a cardstock that best blends in with your papers. So I'm using this dark brown. Black probably would have been a good choice for Tim Holtz as well, but you might have lighter paper you're working with, so of course you want like a cream or something else that you could blend better with your paper. So if you can choose a complementary color cardstock, that might be the way to go, because you are going to see it. You're going to see some of it anyways. And let's see. Yep. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to determine the size of your album. So how tall is it going to be? So if you're working with 8x8 paper, and this actually was one of my last pieces of 8x8s, and I cut off a little section, but that's going to be your height, whatever your paper is, or your 6x6, or if you have a 12x12, you can create whatever height you want. So mine's going to be 8 inches high, and it's going to have 5 pages. Now to figure out how big you want to make, now this is going to be the base of the, or the spine. Let's call this is going to be the spine of your album, and it's going to determine your size of your album, of course. So for every page you want in your album, you're going to go 1 inch. And then when you have all the pages you want figured out, you're going to add 2 inches on the end. So what I'm making is I'm making 5 pages. So that is going to be 7 inches for me because I'm having my 5 pages. So that's 1 inch for every page plus 2 inches. and that would be 7 inches across. And of course it's 8 inches high, so it's 8 inches this way. You'll want to make one piece out of your cardstock, and the second piece you're going to be making out of the decorative paper, whichever paper you want to be using. And then we're going to need to take your cardstock, take the inside. Now I inked around all my stuff, especially getting the edges here, because you have a darker paper. I really don't like that white line, but you may not have to ink it all, depending on what your taste is and what you're doing. Here is the inside. This is going to be the inside, and I'm going to measure an inch from the edge over here and draw a line, and an inch over here on this side and draw a line. So now we have our 8 inches height, our 7 inches width, and an inch drawn off on both sides. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put glue on here, but you're not going to go past this 1 inch area. You are just going to glue right along that line there, because you want to leave an inch unattached. So we'll just come, because Fabri-Tac spreads out a little bit, I'm not going to go right on the line. And I'm using Fabri-Tac because you can adjust it a little bit. You have a little time to adjust it. With glitter glue, it kind of takes very quickly. And so we're just going to place our decorative paper over it and make sure that it is lined up pretty well. There we go. There's always a little bit you gotta wiggle around. All right, and so that's on there. Now while that's drying, we're going to look at our pages. So for the pages, I took the 12-inch as it came, the 12 by 12 paper. I just cut off 8 inches. And then you have to kind of make sure your design is going the right way. And so it's one of these 8 by 12 inches for the cover, and one of these 8 by 12 inches for the back. Then I'm going to fold these in half, like this, and give it a score here, because in the end then your page and your cover is going to be 8 by 6. Let me just show you how this gets glued onto the base before we talk about that. But I guess my point is, you do not have to have paper that folds to do this with. It's not critical that you have to fold it. You can have 2 separate pieces of paper and do the same thing. All right, so you got front and back, however you want that to be. Now I'm going to use a scoreboard. If you have a perfect square, you're going to have to, like if you're making a 6 by 6, you're going to have to make sure that you see here where we did not glue, and this part we did not glue. And that's going to have to be on the sides. And so this side and this side are glued together. Okay, so you want to make sure your little flanges that are not glued are on the sides. Then we're going to score an inch, 1 inch here, right, and then we're going to score 1/2 inches until we have our 5 pages. So 2 1/2 inches is 1 page, 2 more 1/2 inches is 2 pages. Okay, and then you stop for an inch on there, on that side. And I'll turn this over. This might be a little bit better to see. I probably should have done it this way. So that's 1 inch, and then for every page, it's 2/2 inches. And then you should have an inch left over at the very end of it. So you might want to, if it's less confusing, you might want to go ahead and put an inch score here, an inch score here right away, and then do your 1/2 inches in there, and you'll know where to stop. So that is basically the scoring on it. And of course you could just do that with a ruler, you know, and a stylus. It doesn't have to be a scoreboard. Now we're going to fold this, and I don't like this one. I don't know. Here, this is the one I like here. So we're going, the plain cardstock is facing us up, facing up to us, and the decorative paper is below. And of course here we have, remember, we have this unglued and we have this unglued. All right, we're going to fold this one. We're going to start the fold this way, and then we're going to be like a fan, just like the fans we made when we were in elementary school. We're going to just do the accordion fold back and forth, giving it a burnish along the score lines. And we're going to do this all the way. There we go. So that is right, that's your spine. So this is the accordion part of the description. So there's different accordion journals out there, and I've seen a couple different designs, and they're all just a little different, you know. But that's the way this one is. And now we're going to get to my paper. So this is going to be the cover. Now you could use just this paper as it is for the cover, but I'm going to make my cover a little bit more substantial, just because it's not for personal use. So I kind of want it to be really firm. So I have some cardstock here that is 110 pounds. It's pretty heavy cardstock. And I cut it just a wee bit smaller, as you can see, just a wee bit smaller than a half, this half over here, just a little bit. And I've inked it around the sides so that, you know, looking down you can't see the white, because this is white cardstock. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to glue this directly into the front of my cover. All right, that's all glued in there. So this is our cover, and that cardstock just gives it a little bit more stability. We're going to take our spine, flip it over like so, separate that area that we did not glue, and I'm going to glue down the cover like so. And then let me show you what we're going to do after that. We're going to glue the cover down. We're going to then flip this down and glue this part down, so that in the end we have the inside looking this way, and the outside has this really cute little band, decorative band on the edge of it. All right, so let's just do that again. Taking the spine, flipping it over, lifting up that 1 inch place, putting down our glue like so. Just gluing on this decorative paper piece. Taking our cover, and this is the outside of the cover. This is what we want to see on the cover. This is the inside. We're going to open it up and we're going to glue this down like so, lining it all up just like that. Okay, just like so. And then we can go ahead and glue this part down as well. It doesn't need a whole lot, just a little bit, maybe to keep it stable. All right, like so. And now I'm going to glue this whole area all the way, get some over here on the fold, and just glue it totally into, there we go. All right. Now, the reason why I would suggest you kind of try to match this cardstock piece up with the covers or the papers is because there is going to be this little tiny indentation you're going to see. So let's pretend this is the first page that we're going to attach. You probably are going to see just a little bit of that crack come through, just a pinch. And if I were using white, it would come out, it would stand out a lot. So that's just the reason why I suggest that you make sure to have a cardstock that kind of like blends with your paper. All right, and let's get the second page going in here. And again, I'm going to put in this cardstock. We're going to separate this out again. And I'm going to glue just down that 1 inch like this. And this is my back cover. This is what I want people to see. So that's going to go down first, like so. And I'll just glue that in nicely. Alrighty. And we'll glue down the flap. Like that. And then we're going to glue. You always want to make sure your directions are right as well. So here is our covers. So before we go any further, I just realized I wanted to show you how to put in individual pages in case you have like 8x8s or 6x6 or whatever like that. Let me just show you. I just made up this quick little demonstration. So here's our spine, and here are our flanges, you know, just like we did with the other one. We take the outside and flip it over so the inside is facing us, and you know, you would just put glue along here and put in your 1 page, glue this down, and then just take your 2nd page and then you'll glue the whole page down over it. So it's just, I just wanted to give you a visual. It's a no-brainer. You probably should be able to figure it out, but I just want to give you a visual that you don't have to have the folded page. Now we're going to work on the pages inside. So you'll want to cut, just like you did for your front covers, your 8x6 pieces of paper and fold them in half. However, like I said, if you're using, let's say you've got an 8-inch pad, all you need to do is glue in on each side of one of those scored pieces and then glue the page together. All right, so you don't have to fold it. All right, so let's do that part. Got my pages all inked up and ready to go and folded over. Okay, and now let's put in the first page. So the first page is going to straddle one of these mountains. So these are each a mountain inside the spine. This is going to straddle that mountain area right there. But the problem is, for me, or not the problem, but what I want to do is I only want to glue one of these sides down. Okay? That way, until I decide what I want to do here, I may want to put pockets in here, some slip pockets. I may want to put an envelope flap over this section here to have a flip up. I may want to make a pocket under this whole page and just only glue here and there. Until I decide what I want to do with the page, I am only going to glue them in on this one side, just so that I get a sense of, you know, how the pages orders are going to go. So until I really know what I'm going to do, that's how I'm going to put those in. But if you don't want to mess with that and you know what you want to do, or maybe you even know what you want to do before you glue them in, I kind of like to see it somewhat assembled. For me, that just works the best. So we're just going to put glue all along that part of the spine right there. And we're going to place this page right up against there. And, you know, we're trying to get as close as we can to, I don't know, try to do this so you can see it. Try to get it as close as you can to the crease, but you don't want to go over the crease because you want to make sure that it will still bend. All right, and just run your finger. And so that is first page is in. So now you can see a little bit better how there's usually a little bit of a crease you're going to see inside there. So that's why your blending paper is helpful. Now, if you've already finished this page and you know what you want to do with it, you could then if you want to make a pocket that comes in from the front, then you would just glue these 3 sides and put it over. Or if you don't want any pockets with this, you would glue it all and glue it down like so. And so now you can see where these are how your pages are going to be formed inside. Okay, so like I say, I'm going to put my pages in on just one side, and I'm going to put a little clip here. Thought we could do the last page together, so I've got all these done in with just the one side glued in. And so we'll come here, we'll come down this little mountain on this side of the mountain here, put our glue down like so, and get our page. And so we want, this is going to be our page like this, so we'll just open it up down this one side, line it up, get it close to that edge, and then I kind of gently turn it over and press down on that side. There, so now we have the pages in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just clip them together, and then as I work on each page, and when I get done, then I'll glue it in. So that's what I'm going to be doing probably in the next video. I think it's kind of a fun spine. It's something different. And we will see about closures. I haven't decided how that's going to work quite yet. But that is the concept. I hope this wasn't too confusing. This is one of those things that is easier seen, demonstrated than trying to explain how to do it. And so anyways, I hope you'll join me, and I hope you'll subscribe and see what we're going to do with the inside. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.